Arizona Wildlife Views, brought to you by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses and the Heritage Fund, lottery dollars working for wildlife. Some projects made possible by the Sport Fish and Wildlife Restoration Fund.
Welcome to Arizona Wildlife Views. I'm Jim Paxon. In tonight's show, Cinda Howard from Orvis will teach us how to read a stream. If that's not enough fishing for you, Michael McFarland will give us another tip on catching big bass in Lake Pleasant. But first, let's head up north to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Black-footed Ferret Recovery Program.
It's not often that a species thought to be extinct gets a second chance at life. But fortunately, the black-footed ferret was one of the lucky ones. At the turn of the last century, a national effort to eradicate prairie dogs, which were considered a pest, had dire consequences for the black-footed ferret. Prairie dogs make up 90% of the ferret's diet, so with the drastic reduction in prairie dogs, the ferret's numbers crashed, and by the late 1970s, they were declared extinct. That was until 1981, when this man and his dog made a startling discovery on the Pitchfork Ranch near Meeteetse, Wyoming.
Well, the story goes that the neighbor down the river from where we worked, his dog killed one in the yard one night, and they took it to town to get it to the taxidermist to get it mounted and found out exactly what it was. So then the word went around the community that this black-footed ferret had been spotted, and the local game and fish warden had come up with a meeting, had planned a meeting in town so that anybody who had any information on these things could bring in their information. Well, shortly after that was planned, I was out gathering cattle, and I had about an inch of snow on the ground, and I kept seeing what looked like mink tracks in the snow, and I thought, well, it's 2 miles from the river, it can't be a mink. So I started looking around, and I saw my little cow dog, a little border collie. She was on point by a prairie dog hole. So I went over and looked, and I could hear the ferret hissing at her. And of course he had to stick his head out to see what was going on. So immediately I knew what it was.
Doug took these now famous photographs of the newly discovered ferrets, and they have appeared in publications across the country, including National Geographic. Upon investigation, biologists determined that the Wyoming colony consisted of about 120 black-footed ferrets. But in 1985, after 2 disease outbreaks had killed nearly all of the remaining ferrets, the last 18 individuals were captured to start a breeding program. Now, 30 years later, Doug is in the company of ferrets again, this time in the Aubrey Valley near Seligman, Arizona.
My family kept sending me clippings from things that had been going on in South Dakota, etc. So I've got a scrapbook on ferrets, but I was actually on the Game and Fish website looking for hunting information and saw that they were going to do this count up here this spring. And I didn't even know that they'd been transplanted down here or anything. So I thought, well, this would be a great thing to do because I'm retired now. I didn't have much else going on, and I've always been a wildlife fanatic. So I thought this would be great, and it was. We had a heck of a good time last night.
Doug and about 100 other volunteers are taking part in the Black-footed Ferret Spring Spotlighting event. Aubrey Valley is one of 19 locations across the country where ferrets have been reintroduced into the wild, and twice a year they set out to count the population.
As soon as you get your data sheet, you want to fill this top part out.
The people that are new, that have never done it before, we'll give them an hour training session on how to do it, and then we bring them out into the Aubrey Valley where the ferrets are, and we'll sign them up with teams. Usually we sign up a new person with someone who's done it before, and we show them how to set traps for the ferrets, and also we have to spotlight for them. So you sit in your vehicle, or you can backpack and you shine your spotlight. When you see a ferret, you run out to it and stick a trap in there, and then you have to plug up the burrow holes around it so that the ferret doesn't come out like an exit hole, an exit burrow. And then you just keep checking that trap until the ferret pops in.
Once a ferret is trapped, it's taken to a processing station set up along Old Route 66. There they run a scanner over the ferret to find out if it already has a microchip tag in it. If it does, then that means this ferret has been captured before.
If it's a recapture, then we'll just give it a canine distemper shot and just check it out, make sure it's doing well, and then we'll release it. But if it's a new one, then we'll anesthetize it in like a little, what we call a gas chamber, and we'll take it out and we'll give it a pit tag, and we'll give it a shot of canine distemper and penicillin to fight off any infections it may be getting. And then also we'll assess its health. We'll look at its teeth and its eyes and see how it's doing, and weigh it, and then put it in a pet carrier, and then give it to the person that brought it in, and then they'll bring it back out to the exact same burrow where they captured it from.
Since black-footed ferrets are nocturnal creatures, the volunteers must work all night over several days to make the event a success. For Doug Brown, just seeing the ferrets in the wild again is its own reward.
Oh, they're just really darn cute little critters. You know, they're fun to watch. They're, I don't know, just because they're rare partly. You know, it's just amazing that such a specific predator is still going. You know, it's still able to survive. I mean, with help from us.
The black-footed ferret recovery program is doing well in Arizona, and a record 96 ferrets were captured in this spotlighting event. This exceeds Arizona's objective, which needs to be met before the species can be downlisted from endangered to threatened on the endangered species list. All states participating in the reintroductions need to meet their objectives before the ferrets can be considered recovered and no longer in danger of extinction. In Arizona, the Heritage Fund helps support the black-footed ferret program.
We really got lucky this time. We can't let species get to the bare nub like we did with this one. You know, if we hadn't found that founder population, we thought this animal was extinct 30 years ago, and we got lucky and we got a few of them. And so we just can't, we need to be vigilant on other species that they don't get in as bad a shape as the ferret did.
The Phoenix Zoo was the site of a triple anniversary celebration for the black-footed ferret. 2011 marked the 30th anniversary of the discovery of the last black-footed ferrets in the wild, the 20th anniversary of the Phoenix Zoo's breeding program to help recover the species, and the 15th anniversary of Arizona's Aubrey Valley being selected as a reintroduction site. The Phoenix Zoo has been an active participant in the conservation and reintroduction of black-footed ferrets since the opening of their first breeding facility in 1992. As one of only 6 facilities in the world that participate in the species breeding program, the Phoenix Zoo has produced nearly 400 ferrets, 85 of which have been released in the Aubrey Valley.
I think for us, one of the really special aspects of it has been our ability to work with the game and fish folks and the fish and wildlife folks up at the release site in Aubrey. Having that connection and having the ability to see and really work with both sides of this kind of a program is such a privilege. And it's so much fun to be able to see the babies here, raise them up, and then maybe 2 years down the road be spotlighting in Aubrey and find that ferret.
Back in Aubrey Valley, the Ferret Project crew is getting a special delivery, 21 new ferrets to be released into the wild.
Tonight we're getting an allotment of 21 ferrets that are coming from the National Conservation Center from Colorado. Several females and quite a few males, and several groups are going to go out and release them into several high-density areas.
The Aubrey Valley population is considered self-sustaining, so they haven't released any new ferrets here since 2006. But the Conservation Center ended up with these extras, and by releasing them, they hope to boost the genetic diversity of this population. A few of the ferrets actually originated from the Phoenix Zoo's breeding program.
He was born, he's one of Lorelei's kids. He was born at the zoo this spring.
The ferrets are taken to established prairie dog sites to be released. With all the lights and human activity, it took more than a little coaxing to get the newbies out of their carriers and into their new homes. Eventually, all of the new ferrets were released into the Aubrey Valley site, bringing the goal of recovering this species one step closer.
Can we recover this species? I believe we can. In the next 10 years, it is a reality. It is one of the original mammals that was listed on the endangered species list, and I believe it will be one of the first ones that we'll be able to remove.
You've heard the old saying that trout don't live in ugly places. Well, as you can see, that's true. We're north of Sedona in one of my favorite trout spots, Oak Creek. Today we're meeting with Cinda Howard of Orvis and her special guest Steve Berry. Cinda's mission? To teach us how to read a stream.
So the first thing I do is I always try to make sure I look behind me and make sure there's not a big tree or something there that's going to catch my cast.
That's for sure.
Right, so when this situation, you know, we're in a stream that's fairly large and not a lot of overhang, you can make your regular back cast, and you know, where you want to place the fly is, in the first cast I would make is, you know, there's a big deep drop in here that'd be a great place for a fish to hold. A lot of times you find your bigger fish in these little deeper pools. So you want to make sure you get a good cast and your fly to drift over into that water.
Now, why would he hold in that deep spot right there?
Well, one, he's less visible. Two, he's got a lot more water and place to go. He's got a lot of oxygen, so it's a good piece of moving water. And a lot of times behind these rock structures, you know, the fish are sitting there and they're moving out from the rocks and coming back because they don't have to expend a lot of energy. These fish, you know, if they sat there in the fast current all the time, they would spend so much energy they would never, you know, they would not be able to live, or they would have to eat so much they could never gain weight, they could never grow. So they're going to sit where it's the easiest for them to find food. And this would be one of those spots, kind of fast coming in but drops in a little slower pull, and he might be sitting down here just hanging out. So that's where I want you to put your first cast, just above the deeper spot, and let your fly drift through the deep water.
Okay.
Just a couple of back casts. And in small stream fishing, it's always important to know that that very first cast is the most important cast. You know, you want that first cast to be the best cast into a pool because it's your least chance that we haven't spooked the fish yet. The longer we stand in any one spot in this really small water, the more chance we have that we've spooked some fish. That's why we fish upstream, always trying to get to fish that haven't seen us yet.
So small stream fishing like this, you really have to be kind of stealthy is what you're saying.
You do have to be stealthy. And one of the things we talk about is blending in. I mean, you're wearing great stuff today where you know, you don't want to show up with a bright red shirt because these fish, I mean, all their predators are above them and they're always really looking out for their predators. And so you want to make sure you blend in, you make good casts, and that you are trying to catch fish before they have a chance to see you. And so we're just sneaky. So we're just going to work this all the way to the top. That faster water, right in the middle of that fast water they'll set. There's a little spot behind that rock, and that's what we call a little soft spot in the water.
Okay, I see that.
A fish would sit there because he really can get all the food brought to him. He doesn't have to make a lot of energy to live there. And that's one of those places where really potentially a good fish should be sitting in that spot, in that softer water behind the rock.
So when I cast up at that soft spot that you're talking about, I see the spot behind the rock. Would I want to cast above that spot or right at that spot?
Well, the first cast I would put right in the soft spot, but I would cast all the way up to where the rock is and let the fly drift through there. If you get it into the fast current, it really may not drive the fly into the area that you want. And then I would work my way up. So the first cast would be in the soft spot, the second cast a little bit higher, the third cast a little higher, and let it drift through that soft spot. After that, and after you make about 3 or 4 casts, then you want to really move to the next pool and cast the next area above that. This little area right here is a plunge pool. It's a plunge where the water kind of comes in and drifts down. And a lot of times there'll be fish holding there, even in the faster water.
Okay.
That faster water, there's a lot of oxygen and a lot of bug life in that faster water. And they'll kind of sit in a little maybe behind the rock, but they'll move in and out of that fast water. So you at least want to get a couple of casts in that fast water. Especially in the summer when it's hot, that water is going to be a little cooler than the slower pieces of water where the fish will actually move up into the faster water where the water's cooler and they have more bug life going on.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
And see, there's a little bit of brush behind you. If you could, you think you could make a roll cast here?
I can sure try.
Okay, a roll cast is a cast that we do when we have a lot of structure behind us. And surely in small streams, we get a lot of structure. Now that looks great, Steve. Great cast, good drift going through there. All right, and Steve, we're in a spot where this is a really good wide piece of the stream. Now there are some streams in Arizona where you really don't want to get in the water because the water is just so small and narrow. But the benefit of this piece of Oak Creek is there's just so much water around us, we can get good casts of fish, especially on these little side channels that we're fishing, before they've actually seen us.
You know, and I'm pretty new to this, but looking around, just based on what you've told me so far, I see lots of great spots here in front of me where a fish might hide behind a rock or a tree or a stump or something like that.
Exactly. You know, and the good thing about this water too is there's all these deep little places where these fish are going to hold out and hide. You know, if you look at this pool, we have what I call the back of the pool, the middle, and then the top. Okay. And the back is, you know, your slack water when you've come off the fast run coming in. The middle is where that run's kind of starting to die out. And the head of the pool, you have that big run that comes in. Now, potentially fish can sit in all of those spots. You want to make sure that you get a fly placement in the back, the middle, the top of that pool, hit the sides as well. You know, I would say 10 casts in this pool and move on.
Okay.
But work from the bottom and we'll work our way up to the top, to the head of that pool.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Right in the middle first. Nice, perfect. Now covered in that pool. Get one to the right.
Okay.
And then you'll drift one on the left. And again, you know, the first time your fly gets in that spot, it's going to be the best chance you have of catching a fish. And that was a good cast. On that left is a big rock, a big slick spot behind that rock. Fish could sit there and not have to use a lot of energy, but that faster current is going to bring the food right to him. Beautiful casting, Steve, doing a great job. Let's get a couple of flies right up in that plunge pool. Now the way I look at these faster pieces of water as well is I tend to think of those spots where if the fish is holding there, you're less likely to spook him because that water is so turbulent coming in.
Sure.
A lot of times we get to these spots and everyone thinks that plunge pool is the absolute best place and where they ought to go to catch a fish. But they actually walk up and then see that they spooked the fish because they were hanging below that plunge pool. So you just got to have faith and fish it all the way up and don't miss any spots. That was a flash. You see that? Great job. You covered that water really, really well. We had a fish come out and take a look at your fly, though he didn't eat it, and that's what happens, you know. We call that rejection. In fly fishing, you really have to handle rejection well because we're going to get a lot of rejections. But eventually,
I'm used to a little rejection.
But eventually, we're going to get some fish to take.
Now I've cast quite a few times into this area.
And I would say that's done.
Okay.
Let's move to this side little slot here. You see that there's a big run coming in. There's actually one coming to the left and one coming to the right, and the fish could sit in that run, or he could sit in between in that slack water and let both of those runs, you know, move into him. That rock is actually blocking a little bit of that current. That's a great cast right there.
Now I'm just slowly working my way up.
And that's exactly how we do it. You know, in a day, I'll fish a couple of miles of stream because, you know, you just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, and that's how you get to fish that haven't seen you yet. There's a lot of undercut banks in our streams in Arizona, and what that means is it doesn't always look like it, but the bank will cut up, the water will cut up under the bank. You can look at a piece of water sometimes and see no fish and swear it's void of fish. But then what happens is if you watch it long enough, you'll actually see the fish coming out from under the edge of that bank, moving out, eating food, and then going back. So another way when we're reading streams, we want to look and make sure we get a good cast along the edge of the rock and along the edge of the bank line because in case there's an undercut bank where that fish can hide. And that's kind of the story in most of our waters.
How am I looking?
You're looking great. Cast looks great. Drifts look good. You don't have any drag on your line.
Now drag, you mentioned drag there just a second. Real quick, I think I know what drag is, but just tell me so I'm sure.
Well, in fly fishing, you know, the bugs are drifting naturally down the water. These bugs, if they're on the surface, they're bugs that have, you know, either hatched or are coming back to lay their eggs, and they're just drifting along with the current. The nymphs, or the subsurface bugs, have been knocked loose from rocks, or they're emerging and they're drifting freely with the stream, and that's the key point. You want your fly to drift freely with the water, just like a natural bug would, and we call that a drag-free drift. All right, so this is a prime piece of water. We have everything going on here. We have 2 plunge pools coming in, we have a little back eddy, and we have the best thing of all, this big log in the water. Now, typically when I see this, I think of this as being a big brown trout little holding area, because he can rule the roost there. He can sit right under that log. He's got a good deep piece of water. That back eddy's just bringing all the food to him, and he's just sitting there eating. This is a prime spot, and when you make this cast into this pool, that's where the first cast would be, because when you walk up and you see that, you think, wow, that's a good cover for a fish. And as we said, the best time you're going to have of your fly being taken is the first cast into the pool, and we want that first cast to be right there, get a good drift by that log. Now, the hazard of the log,
the hazard.
There's a log.
There's always a catch.
It's a log, there's some branches sticking out, so we know that, you know, there's always a risk, but with risk sometimes comes reward, so we're going to give it a try. Nice drift, nice drift, nice drift. Now the next cast, let's get a little closer to the log and see if you can't get it to come around in that little back eddy. And that back eddy is that little slick piece just beneath that. See how that fly kind of circles around? Get a good mend up, there you go. Nice drift. Nice, it's just gonna come right underneath that log. Now I know it's hard to see, but can you get one all the way up over on the other side of that limb? On the other side of that, cast right up next to it. That might work, that might work. Nice. Now there's a limb, but sometimes you just gotta make that wrist. Yep, there you go, beautiful.
Wow.
That went right up under that log.
That's scary.
They're just flies. And I'll tie them on, and they're mine, so you can lose them, it's okay.
I guess so.
So the next cast we're gonna cover this whole piece of water. So we're gonna take now and put a good drift at the edge of that run.
Okay.
That fish will sit in that slack water at the edge of the run sometimes. And we're gonna work our way all the way left to right and fish this whole piece of water. You wanna leave no stretch unturned. Because these fish are lying all up in this water, in the fast water, in the slit, and sometimes in the slack water behind the rocks. And now on the other side, you want to put one on the right side of that fast water as well.
Went down there for a second. I thought maybe we had a fish.
They're so quick too, these little Oak Creek fish.
They do, boy. I've seen them come flashing through with the flies, and it happens quickly.
You know, the most important thing, Steve, is just time on the water.
Okay.
You're going to get better every time that you come out, and you know, you'll start learning where these fish are hiding just based on experience of where you place the fly. And all I can say is, you know, look at the water and fish it. You know, fish the fast stuff, fish the slow stuff, get your fly behind rocks, and make good casts.
Okay, I think I get this. Around the rocks, in the eddies, near the outcroppings. All right, let's see if I can get this to work. What? This is Jim. Another meeting in Phoenix? I think I'm gonna have to take a sick day. I don't have any sick days left. How about a mental health day?
What we're going to do right now is actually fish for some post-spawn fish. We've done a little bit of looking for bed fish. It seems that they've either pulled off or they've finished the spawn. We've seen some fry up here, so that means there should be post-spawn fish. There's a couple favorite bait choices. One of them on this lake, particular Lake Pleasant, is a skinny dipper. Skinny dipper is just a phenomenal bait on this lake. My two favorite colors would be white trash, bullfrog, something that's either imitating the bluegill or the shad. And then you fish that on an owner wide-gapped twist lock hook. This is a number 5 odd, and it's a weighted. So I can slow roll this. If you take a look up front here with me, you're gonna notice this big flat that we got here, potentially a great spawning grounds for these fish. A lot of times the fish are simply going to back out from where they've spawned and recover, and that's where they begin to feed. So we're just gonna start fishing the outside edge of this flat, throwing into those trees and slow rolling this skinny dipper. And again, a couple other baits of choice would be a jerk bait. A Pointer 100 jerk bait by Lucky Craft is probably one of my favorite baits. Imitates an injured threadfin shad perfect. And sometimes when those fish are real hungry, that it just you can't beat it this time of year. But let's go fishing.
That's our show. Hope you enjoyed it. For more information on Arizona game and fish or anything you've seen in tonight's show, go to our website. I'm Jim Paxon with The Horses. For producers Carol Lynn and Gary Schaefer, we'll see you next week.